call to the spirits of our ancestors upon the four winds. Hear these words of praise. I call to the Vatir of the land and the whites to hear these words of praise. I call upon the gods, the holy host, to hear these words of praise. We're going to do a chant to Bragi, but not a soft chant. A chant to crack the heavens. Starting in your speaking voice and gradually getting louder until the loudest one on the 9th time. 9 times we chant for Bragi. 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 Many things will herald the coming darkness of the gods. The loss of Frey's sword. The death of Balder. The foreboding of Odin. But when the Ragnarok comes, it will happen like this. Thimblewinter grips tight. Bone-cracking cold sweeps across the land. A season long plus 3 more. Animals freeze to the ground. Birds fall from the sky and smash upon the earth like shattered glass. The bonds of men will be broken. Fathers kill their sons, and sons their fathers. War, incest, and rape spread across Midgard until no honor or kindness remain. A sword age, axe age, shield smashed. Wind age, wolf age, Jormungandr rides, causing earthquake and tidal wave. All fetters are broken, and freed upon the world is Loki, Fenrir, and the hellhound Garm. Fenrir gapes his jaws, scraping the ground and the sky on his path of vengeance. He swallows the sun, the moon, and all that lay before him. Jormungandr shakes and rises. The oceans swell, flooding the earth, and loosed from its mooring, the ship Naglfar sails towards Asgard, with Loki upon its bow, commanding the army of dishonored dead. 3 armies make their way to the home of the gods. Hymir leading the frost giants, the fiery Surt leading the sons of Muspel, and Loki leads the armies of the dead. Gulenkambi crows, a warning heard across all 9 worlds. The Galahorn sounds! And the gods take counsel. Every citizen of Asgard capable of wielding sword or spear make ready for the fight. The valiant dead spill from both Odin's Valhall and Freya's Sessrumnir. On the other side, the armies of chaos make their way across the Bifrost Bridge toward Vigrid's plain. The sheer weight of the 3 armies shatter the bridge, killing 1/3 of the enemy forces. The gods revel in their death. But Odin shouted at the Asgardian host, "It is not for us to cringe behind our high walls. We go now to face death in honorable combat." Upon Vigrid's plain stood all the warriors of both order and chaos, as well as Loki's monstrous children, Fenrir and Jormungand. The dragon Nidhogg climbed up from the depths. He flew above with corpse-filled wings. Yggdrasil shuddered, and the worlds trembled. Garm bayed loudly before Nippa Cave, loosed from his fetters, freed from his chains. The fates I fathom, yet further I see, of the mighty god's death. The Volva did dream. The good Frey was first in the fight. The son of Njord rushed out against the fiery Surt, and the chiefs of Asgard cheered as he dodged blow after blow. Yet no damage could Frey inflict upon the blazing giant. His skin began to burn and blister from the heat. His flesh blackened and his eyes boiled. It was then that Frey regretted the gifting of his sword. With one great slash of Surt's flaming sword, Frey was no more. The fates I fathom, yet further I see. Thor Odinson ran out against the serpent Jormungand without fear or pause. The serpent's strike was lightning! Yet Thor rained down hammer blows and the worm was stunned. He gripped Mjolnir in both hands and struck down on the great snake with all the power he owned. The serpent's head exploded with the impact. The sons and daughters of Asgard rejoiced in his victory. Yet, the venom of the snake hung like a mist in the air, and after 9 steps, the mighty Thor fell dead. The fates I fathom, yet further I see. Tyr's bravery shone bright as he set out against the worst of all monsters, the hellhound Garm. The massive beast snatched up the god of justice and shook, ripping the legs from his body. Tyr hung in the jaws of his foe. Yet, as the very breath of life escaped him, Tyr released a war cry, loud and long, that rung out over the battlefield. And with one last mighty thrust, Tyr pierced into the very heart of the beast, killing it instantly. Dropped to the ground, the god of the thing lay dying, with a smile spread wide across his face. The fates I fathom, yet further I see. Fenrir ran through the battle, killing indiscriminately. The father of the gods called to the huge black wolf, and their eyes met, locked in a hateful gaze. Odin struck out upon the back of Sleipnir with the spear Gungnir held high. He rode into the jaws of death. His fate embraced and was swallowed whole. Odin's silent son Vidar saw his father's death, and Vidar's heart filled with 10-fold hate. He rushed out towards Fenrir with a strength never seen before. He stuffed his leather-bound foot into the bottom jaw of Loki's son, both hands braced upon his snout. Vidar tore Fenrir's head in 2. Blood and brains rushed out onto the ground as a great wave of red death. The armies of order and chaos were laid low. Only 3 remain in the fight: Loki, Heimdall, and Surt. Loki laughed, taunting Heimdall, and they danced a duel of death, their swords moving faster than a human eye could perceive. They eventually succeed in impaling one another and fall to the ground, locked in a mortal embrace. With his last bit of strength, Loki gloated, "I have won. All the gods lie dead." And then, for the first time in his long life, Heimdall laughed, spitting blood up upon his silver teeth. And he spoke. "Your magic is weak, traitor, for I can see much farther than you. The flames will die out. The oceans will recede. Sol had a daughter, and Mani a son, who will continue their parents' path across the sky. The green grass and trees will grow once more. And Odin hid a man and a woman within the world tree. They will emerge and repopulate Midgard. The sons and daughters of the gods who were too young to fight will step forward and claim the names and duties of their parents. The cycle of life will begin anew. And with that, the trickster and the white god died with swords through their chests. And thus ends the battle called Ragnarok. Yet, just as Heimdall predicted, the fires died out. The oceans recede. A new sun and moon hung in the sky. The grass and trees grew once more. And the mortals that Odin had hid emerged from their hollow in the world tree and flourished. The sons and daughters of the gods made their way back to the place once known as Asgard, now called Idalval. Among them is Vidar and Vali, the sons of Odin. Magni and Modi, the sons of Thor, together carrying their father's hammer. Balder and Hoder are released from hell and make their way back home once more. A new hall is built, named Gimli Height, and the gods take counsel. They speak of Odin in the runes, of Loki the betrayer, and of the weavers of fate in the game of life. In Idalval were found the golden game pieces of the gods. The board is carefully set, and Balder makes the first move.